Oh, welcome to the Coop, everybody. Actually, a very special edition to the Coop. This one is all about friendship. Let me just set the scene here, guys. It's early. I've got my sunglasses on my head, the carpool look. I'm with Harper McDonald, my producer. And in the Coop, we have got Casey Ladd, a.k.a. Trevor, my very best friend since I was 18 years old.
That's
and
right.
one of the founding members of the Coop. Welcome, Trevor. T. Monet.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, one reason that Harper and I were talking about coming on, so many people ask me about our friendship and sort of the key to it all.
Okay, so I'm going to guide you two through this conversation. It's going to
Please
be
do.
a hoot. Okay, and the one thing we were sort of laughing about, if we could just sort of say really quickly, Trev, is, and I've just adopted that your name is Trev. I know
Yes.
that it is.
The
I've
abbreviated
never
version.
asked, do a lot of people call you Trev, or is it just the people that are sitting in this room right now? Because you have another family member whose name is Trevor.
That's
am I right?
true. My son is named Trevor, and it's my middle name. And I would say the inner circle.
Okay.
Refers
Well,
to me
I
as
threw
Trev.
myself into the inner circle.
You're in.
I'm
I
not
love
like
that.
in my phone. You are Trev.
I started the nickname.
No one ever
And-
called me Trevor until college, so I feel like it.
Oh, that's good. It's a good.
yeah.
It's such a good one.
Thank
Okay. All right, Kit and Trev.
Let's
Here we
do
go.
it.
As we always do in the Coop, I'm going to start with one word to describe your friendship right now at this point in your life.
Full.
Full, yeah. Very evolved, really, and always fun.
Always,
it's just
always
fun. A lot
fun.
of laughter.
No
Yes.
one makes me laugh harder. You have a
Right back
way
at
of
you.
looking things in a different light than anybody else, and that's one of. So basically, she got her name Trevor. I met her freshman year. I didn't know anybody at North Carolina, University of North Carolina. She didn't know anybody at University of North Carolina.
No.
We were both on the track team there, D1 athletes. The very first person I met on campus, Harper. Think about that, wild. By the way, for those just listening, I'm 5 feet tall. Trevor's 5'10", 5'10". I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Trevor's from Massachusetts.
Right. Twins.
Twins. So it was like I had never
Literally like the movie Twins.
literally the movie Twins. Oh, I'm Danny DeVito. And we had like name tags on.
Okay, so you're 18 years old.
We're 18 years old.
Okay.
And hers, it said Casey Trevor Donahue. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Your middle name is Trevor? I was like, that's the greatest name. I'm like, you're Trevor. And so, and then we were walking, do you remember this, Trev? We're
Oh, yeah.
walking around the dorm, Harper, and we saw this other girl that was moving in. It was moving in day. And this young girl was wrestling her dad. And she like,
Like actually wrestling her dad?
wrestling him. She's like, pinned him down. And Trevor and I don't know each other, and we cannot stop laughing. So to find somebody to see the humor, there was Trevor with her Ralph Lauren bedspread and like all her perfect stuff. And I'm like, and this girl was like, yeah, take down too. And we couldn't get enough of this girl wrestling
That's
her dad.
amazing.
Amazing.
They were just trying to get one last one in before he
Yeah,
left
exactly.
her for
That
the
was
year.
That was their love language.
That
I
was
guess,
their
or
love
something.
language.
I don't know, but it was funny, and I remember thinking, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have fun with this girl.
So who's more wild between the two of you in college?
Oh, that's easy, kid. Well, that's a no-brainer, and everybody would say that. I was definitely the one that was a little more reserved, I would say.
Yes. However, it's funny. So we collided and literally became inseparable. And what's funny is I had never met somebody with the ability to laugh at themselves like Trevor did. And it was a quality that I could not get enough of. I mean, we laughed about everything. And it's something that I then took over in my life and passed it on to my 3 kids, especially my girls. I love that ability for a woman to be able to laugh at themselves. I think you win. And this isn't in a way of tearing yourself down. It's just finding the humor in stuff, not taking life so seriously.
Right. And I would say for Kit, for me, I've never met anybody that was so in the moment. Like, it was so refreshing to me. And also, I think as athletes too, like, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves.
Sure, yeah.
And there was a lot of like planning and thinking and, you know, a little type A-ish. And I was like, wow, how is she that, but also so in the moment? Like, I've never been with anyone that was just right here in the right now before anybody was even talking about being in the moment. Now I feel like people talk about being in the moment
Yeah,
all the
sure.
time, you know, and now I was like, wow, Kit was way ahead of the curve on that. And it was
Totally.
just so fun.
You two move into the same dorm.
Yep.
What was it called?
Teague.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
At UNC. And you did not live together though. No. Same hallways, same building.
Same
Yes.
building.
Okay. And then you both rushed. What did you rush in the fall or is it a spring rush?
No, so we couldn't rush till sophomore year as
right.
athletes.
Okay.
And bless our team's heart. So once Trevor and I met, we started having a lot of fun. And by sophomore year, we both, well, do you remember, Trev? They're like, spring break, we're training. And we said, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa, yeah.
No, we we're going to be in Jamaica.
That's weird. That wasn't on my calendar.
Trevor and I went to Jamaica. We came back fully tanned, and the coach was like, so we kind of knew at that point it was time to like maybe rethink our track
Commitment?
careers,
Yes.
our commitment, our level of
It
commitment.
was in question at that point. The
I
commitment was
can't
in
imagine
question.
why.
Harper, you would have fit right in. But the best part about going through Rush together, and I've thought about this and I've shared it with my daughters, and I think you shared it with your daughter. Here we are, completely best friends. Everybody knows we're always together and supportive of one another and having the greatest time. We go through Rush and we pledge different sororities. I think that is the coolest thing. Trev went tried out, I went Chi-O, and what happened was we doubled our friend group. I became best friends with all your tried out. She became best friends with all my Chi-Os. And what a cool moment, that level of confidence.
Exactly. And it continues to be so wonderful, our friend set now in this latter part of our lives, because we're so connected with both sets of friends.
But they all call her Trev, at least the Chi-Os.
Right, exactly.
Team Monet.
Okay, so there's too many moments in college to really sort of say, this is one that when we talk about it now, we literally can't breathe. Like, what is a moment in college where like just shit went sideways? Or like
Often.
there were police involved that you could maybe talk about?
Well,
or
We're squeaky clean.
We're-
Let's be
yeah,
clear.
yeah, Harper,
There
I
is
don't know what you're
I don't know what you're
referring
referring to.
so never nary a cop at
I will tell one
School.
little story, Trev, and we'll keep it clean. There was many of these. Trev and I were at a danger, so we're just having some day cocktails, and we learned that it was Mardi Gras, it was Fat Tuesday. So the next day, we got in the car and we just drove straight to New Orleans with our girlfriend Jules. No place to stay, no cell phones, no money. And we arrive, and Jules had a boyfriend from high school that went to school out there. We crashed his dorm. We changed his answering machine to say, Jules, Trev, and Kit can't come to the phone right now. Keep in mind, there's no cell phones. We wrecked their whole place. Yeah. We stayed for a week out there, Harper, with no money. We ended up on floats. We
did it all.
I'm trying to keep it clean, Trev. We can't say a lot of what went
so
down.
much
I
fun.
just remember we were sitting in music class listening to Johann Sebastian Bach, and Kit looks over to me and she's like, tomorrow's Fat Tuesday. And I'm like, what is she talking about? And she's like, we could get in the car right now and we could be there for Fat Tuesday. And for me, I'm like, I got to organize my sock drawer. I don't know if that can happen. And I mean,
I have so many
an
things
hour
on the
later,
list.
we are in the car, we are driving south. And I mean, there's we got a paper map.
Yeah, paper map. Nothing.
AAA.
By the way,
I
it's,
hit the AAA on the way out.
it's funny that, Trev, that you see yourself like that, because that's not how I see you at all. Trev is the ultimate wingman. When I said New Orleans, I think you said, let's ride.
ride.
I mean, she whipped that little Jeep Cherokee
Well,
in the front.
I knew we were going at that
Yeah.
point. I was like, I'm not getting out of this one. But in my head, I'm
In
thinking
your
like
head.
the sock drawer.
You're so great, though. Yeah,
That
because
is
you push
so
yourself.
cute.
The other thing, Harper, that I thought about knowing we're going to do this, I think the defining moment in our friendship where we both really evolved. So if you got two really independent people, no jealousy, you just love one another. So we also, I think, never sort of told each other how much we needed one another when we were younger. And there was a moment when Neil passed away, which was just devastating. That's Trevor's mom. Can I just brag about Neil for a minute?
Sure.
Neil,
Yes. Love when you talk
Harper
about her.
was a pilot, gourmet chef, scratch golfer, movie star good looks, drove a Porsche with a whale tail stick shift better than anybody I've ever seen.
She did.
This laugh could tell a story. I mean, I'm not
she was-
overselling this.
she was good fun.
She was magical. By the way, all three of us here have these moms. We should talk about your mom, Honey, and her life. There's something about that, though, what
Yes.
we've become.
Amazing strong women
Strong women
leading
that
the way.
aren't needy. So there's something when you're not needy. But
I agree.
I think sometimes what happens is then maybe when you need somebody, you're not there. So anyway, Neil passes away. The funeral was going to be around Thanksgiving. I'm living in Connecticut. Trev's up in Boston.
I think you just had your third child. I'm asking you to fly in.
No, you don't even say anything.
You're right,
You
you're
just
right.
said the funeral's here. And I was like, oh, Trev's not going to expect me to come. It's Thanksgiving. And I was sort of, I'm hoping, looking back, that I was going to go anyway. But then she did the best thing, Trev, and this really changed us. She said, hey, I need you there. And I was like, that boom.
I did.
I'm in it.
Yeah.
Then I went to your high school reunion.
Yeah, it happened to coincide with my high school reunion.
That's
which
a whole
is-
nother
which is
story.
Did
really
you?
comical.
Okay, we've got to get back to that because there's got to be you going to her high school
Yes,
reunion.
but what a great, but now what we learned from that moment
Yes.
was, I think, there was a good chance maybe with Thanksgiving that I didn't go, and then you might have been resentful, but I wouldn't have known because we're so capable that
Right.
it was really a huge moment. Now we both learned to say, hey, I need you. So our level of communication has upped. But that was a big
Right.
one for us.
That's
I
so
think.
powerful.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. I think it is so hard when we're younger to say, I need help.
I need help.
And it's hard when we're older too, but it's
Right.
different. And we can identify those moments where we can just be very clear about what's happening in our bodies and in our brains and being like, I'm not
Right.
doing okay.
Yeah.
I need help.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can assume like someone's going to show up for you, but you really shouldn't have to assume. If you really want someone to be there for you, and I really needed you, I was like, I can't get through this. My dad was actually already dating this new woman because my mom had been sick for a while. I was like, there was a lot going on.
And now what's happened is I've asked both of you for help multiple times, and it
Right.
feels great. But I think when we were younger, yeah, it was one of those things. And also,
Exactly.
I loved that you said, I need you. That I couldn't get on the plane fast enough. So what a great lesson. I need you both a lot, by the way. Sorry for all the calls.
Sorry for all the calls, right?
Now I've taken it to a whole new level.
It goes two
It
days
goes both
ago.
ways, yeah,
2
for
days ago,
sure.
you and I had a conversation, and I just dumped all this stuff that I was working through. And sometimes that's the way of saying I need help.
Yep.
And you said, okay, this is how you're going to think about it. This
Yep.
is what you're
Right.
going to do. This is the action plan. And okay, so if you were going to describe Kit, how has she stayed the same and how has she changed over these years?
Oh, so interesting. Well, certainly the level of humor and laughter has not changed. I mean, Kit is really the funniest person that I know, and that has consistently been that way, really, from the moment that we met, I would say. And being in the moment too, that has not changed. You continue to be amazing. I would say Kit is an amazing listener, and that's just something I've noticed in the last couple of years, which has been something that I feel that is rare, really. Like, I feel like you really listen so well. And I don't know if that's something you're even aware of, but I don't remember that early on. And I feel like you do that with everyone, though, not just for me either. And it's a really incredible quality that I admire about you. It's something I think I work on
totally
now, too.
agree.
Like,
I
it's
totally
really
agree.
quite something.
Oh, thanks, T. Monet.
Welcome.
Totally agree.
You know how it's wild to sit here
I
because
know
we
it
know
is.
each other
I hope
so
I don't start
well.
crying.
I know, but you know what's about that, and then I'm going to tell what I think how we've evolved. But
Yeah.
I also think even you saying those things, I do think in our 50s, and anybody that watched White Lotus, if you saw it at the end, these three best friends from childhood, sort of after they kind of attacked each other a little bit or tore each other down or went back in familiar patterns, they basically were like, you make life worth living. Like you are, it
Yes.
matters because we have each other in our life.
So true.
And you and I talk all the time. Like, I mean, so much stuff wouldn't be worth it if I didn't get to share it with you.
Very
but
true.
For Trev, it's been, you're just like the one. We've just been, we've gone through so much.
True.
And you've become family. You knew Pi and Papa. You knew my
Yes.
uncles that have all passed away.
history.
Every family vacation. Like, it's just your family. You talk to my mom, dad, and brother maybe as much as I do.
I know. You
Yeah.
do. You're right.
Like, they just adore you. So that feeling of whatever happens, we're in this together.
Yes.
I just saw Oprah get emotional with Gail to space. I said to Trev, oh shit, you go to space. I'm sobbing my eyes out. You better come back. You better come back. And I think the way we've changed is I think we're more articulate to each other about what we need.
Yeah. Good point.
And that's a great one,
It
I
is a
think,
good
with
one.
everything.
Right.
And now working together has just been the greatest. So
True.
that's been fun.
Yeah.
What's the longest period of time? Because I'm pretty sure you two speak about 17 times a day. What's the longest period of time that you didn't speak? And has that ever happened?
I think only with no cell phones.
Right.
Maybe when you're in New York City. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was different before cell phones.
For sure. Yeah.
How did you function without cell phones? I mean, you are literally on the phone. When you are not in front of a camera, you are on the phone,
I'm on the phone.
right?
Yeah, because I talk to my mom, dad, and brother and Trevor every single morning.
Correct.
Yep. Then I talk to
And-
my kids every day,
Yep.
my daughters that are at school. Yeah, and then you and I talk every day. Yeah. It's
No,
a-
you were stacked with phone calls that are like
Everyone
literally
that I
not
love.
scheduled.
It's my
so I'm
connection.
wondering though, but I mean, yes. So you didn't have a cell phone. So did you sit next to your phone? Like,
I don't
Landline.
know
How
what
did
I
do that?
did.
Do you know
What
what I
did we
mean?
do, Trev?
What did we do? I mean, we've been very lucky that we both ended up on the West Coast around the same time. I've thought about that recently, like what if one of us was still on the East Coast? I mean, that's been really special to be in the same time zone for
Yeah,
sure.
we
And
always made an effort.
we always made an effort, so
This is cool too, meeting so young and being, I'm from the South, Trev's from the North.
the North.
No, but our parents were very different.
Very.
And I gravitated towards Neil and Paul, Trevor's mom and dad. And Trevor gravitated towards my mom and dad. That
Absolutely,
was
yes.
very much like, Trev, you describe it. It's
They
very
were
different.
Beaver Cleaver.
My parents were Beaver Cleaver, literally
And
like.
they were very present. You never really knew where my family was. They were a little hippie-ish. They were wild. My parents were really crazy. They were a very good time, very, very good time. There was always drinks and food and wine and cocktails where Kit's family was all about, let's play tennis, let's go for a run. It wasn't centered around drinking really.
Nothing.
Where my family was all about like, where's the next cocktail coming from?
Oh, I loved
and
it.
Kit loved it.
I
My
loved
dad had
it.
a cooler in the back seat,
Oh.
any cocktail you wanted.
It's like, what is this
What is
magical
this?
situation?
And their house was so cool. I thought it was decorated so neat with like wild artwork. And I'll never forget, we're 18 and I'm at Trevor's house and her mom had this like funky china and we ate mussels. I'd never had mussels before. And a glass of wine. I'm 18 and I'm like, this is outstanding.
And they're passing a
And
joint.
Passing
and
a
like-
joint. They grew marijuana in the back. I was like, I love
These
this
are my
family.
people.
My people. I've arrived.
Yeah.
And Trevor comes to my house and like Bug's got
Sweet
classical
tea,
music and it's sweet tea and
magazines.
we're watching Wimbledon on
Yes,
TV and
having-
she's curled up under a blanket with 1,000 magazines that my mom has. And we were visiting my brother in college, University of Florida, and we went out really late. This is just so my family. We went out to like 4 a.m. and we wake up to my dad throwing rocks at our window for the 6 a.m. run. And Trevor's like loving it. I'm like, have you lost your mind?
I get suited up like that.
And Trevor's like,
JC
I'm in.
JC's calling.
Let's go. But the difference in parenting isn't that wild. And I learned
Well,
so
you
much
both-
from
it's
your
And
an
now
mom.
you're more
extension-
like my parents.
Yes.
And I'm more like
Yes. Trev, isn't
That's
that
great
wild?
though, but that's such a beautiful union as well, just an extension of family. Like just
True.
going off
Yeah.
to what you said, you're like, great, I get 2 more parents. This
Yeah.
is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my brother Craig just adores Trev, and they're so
course.
close. And a quick funny story about her brother Ryan. Trev and I were living in Martha's Vineyard
Yeah.
the sophomore year, so we're 19. And Ryan comes to visit with 5 of his buddies, and of course, all they want to do is drink beer. And I'm like, I'm your girl, boys.
Yeah.
And I say, guys, we're gonna play quarters and Anchorman, and whoever pukes gets their head shaved. And they're like, ah. And Trevor's like, God, look at Kit entertaining these boys. So we're playing quarters and we're in the vineyard. I'm playing tunes. We got the boys. Well, all of a sudden they're passing around dip. And I've never
gosh.
dipped. So Trevor's like, what is she
Tonight's
doing?
the night.
Tonight's the night I'm going to dip.
like, okay.
So with all these boys, and so I do a dip in my mouth, and we're playing quarters, and I guess I'm going to chug, and I forget, and I swallow the
entire dip.
The entire dip. Meanwhile, I've made this huge thing. First person that pukes gets their head shaved. I mean, all night long, I'm screaming. I think it's the funniest thing. I'm 19
Yeah.
years old, whatever.
Because you know they're not taking you
Because
down.
I know they're not taking me down. I'm like, I got a wooden leg. Like, let's ride, boys. Buckle up.
Whoops.
So Trev is around. I forgot you were playing with us, but you were in the house. I mean, we lived with 18 girls. That's a
Right.
whole nother story. Trevor and I invited everybody. And so all of a sudden the room starts spinning, Harper. I'm not feeling good. And clearly enough, I'm puking so fast. So I go to the bathroom to puke and I lock that door. Well, those boys are banging
Boom,
on the
boom,
door.
boom, boom.
We're shaving your head. Totally.
I could look like right underneath the door and I could see Kit's little feet and she is just flat out on the floor of the bathroom. And thank God you locked yourself in there because
They
it
were
would not have
coming.
ended well.
Did
They
you
were
just
coming.
wait for them to themselves pass out?
Yes.
And then you kind of
Yes.
snuck out.
And by the way, you know how I am. I'm always good to a bet. So
Yes,
the next day,
exactly.
thank goodness, let me have the hooker. It would have been a shaved head. I mean, you got to show up. I was like, and you know, I got a large head, Trev. That was not our finest look those years.
My brother still remembers that weekend vividly. He was like, that was one of the greatest weekends
That
of all
is
time.
hilarious.
Thanks, Kit.
Wait.
Yes.
And Trev and I, did you cut your hair short during these years, Harper? No. You
I've
didn't.
always had long hair.
Why? See, you were the pretty girl in our group.
No, I've just always
exactly.
had long hair.
No, but one should. Trev and I bulked up a lot in
bulked up.
college.
And
We were,
then-
shall we say, puffy?
Yes, puffy with very short hair.
Did you both not? So when did you both tap out of athletics at UNC? When was your final hurrah?
Junior, we did it freshman
Mine
and
was
sophomore.
sophomore year, midway through sophomore year.
Got it.
When I went through Rush, and then I
And
was
you're like,
I saw-
this is my jam.
yeah,
Yeah.
I saw
But
the
we
light.
ate at the training table with all the athletes, and we put on quite a bit of weight. And like I just remember coming home freshman year, and I'm running 70 miles a week. I'm a long distance runner. My dad's like, whoa,
Whoa. It did
Nelly.
not offset the 15 fried French toast sticks that we started the morning with the linebackers on the UNC
You're like,
football
this is
team.
what what we're supposed to do.
We ate with the football
Carbo
players,
loading.
and Trev would say, watch my friend Kitty. She can eat 20 French toast sticks in a row, timer, and I would eat them all. The joke was on us because we just kind of got puffier.
Okay.
But wait, so quickly. So then we decided that we were going to cut our hair short.
Oh, yes.
And Harper, my head ate my neck. Trevor, it was not our best look.
It was not.
We did really short. And then please tell
Did you
the
cut
story.
each other's hair, or you actually went somewhere to have a cut?
We did it professionally, and was it professionally?
I don't know. We would one up each other with how short we could go, though, because I was like one shorter than the next.
Please tell the Polly story at TJ Maxx.
Oh gosh, no. Oh,
Is it not a
wow.
good one? Please.
Well, this was after we had graduated.
Oh,
and still
God,
had the
that's
very
even
short
more
hair.
pathetic.
It was. I was after.
Yeah.
And it was in Boston, and Kid had come to visit me, and we decided it was probably in springtime. We were going to go do some bikini shopping, which we always go to TJ Maxx, and I've got my little carriage, and I'm loading it up, and Kit's on the other side of the store, and this guy comes over, and I can see him kind of from a distance, and he's going, Polly, Polly, in a really deep, Boston accent, and I was like, does he think that I'm Polly?
This is the best.
And I've got this thing of bikini, I mean, like a whole carriage of bikinis, and he walks over, and when he gets really like within 2 feet of me, he realizes that I'm not his guy friend Polly, but I am indeed a woman. But before he notices that, he looks in the carriage and he's like, Polly, what? Why you got all these bikinis in here?
Jesus Christ,
Jesus
Polly.
Christ,
Polly.
What are you shopping for?
So I'm in the dressing room.
And like, oh my God, he really thought I was his friend Paul, and I clearly look like
a man
with this
with
short
your
hair.
short
So then
hair.
she
I was like,
comes
that
to
was a
get in.
real turn
She
up
comes in the
laughing
dressing room. She
story.
can't even catch her. She's laughing so hard. Again, what I love about her laughing off, she goes, "We're out of here." And I'm in my
Yeah, I
bikini.
don't want
Like
a
what?
bikini. I got
She's
bigger problems.
She's like, "We got bigger fish
got
to fry."
bigger fish
I
to
was
fry.
just accused of being a man named Paulie. We're out of here. And I was like,
I think the hair grew out after that.
Oh,
I
that's
think
a
I
good
called
call.
you Paulie for the next year.
That's a good call. Okay, so we talked about this. You brought this up a little bit, and I thought it was super interesting in the White Lotus episode. I think for many people who watched it, I do feel like that was sort of this moment, and really talking about the tenderness and the difficulty and the absolute joy and fulfillment of friendships. I know you guys have talked about this a bit, but I just think it's so interesting to think about friendships in your 50s and how it's different and how it's evolved and why do we think it changes so much from when we're in our 20s to our 50s?
Right.
Like, what is it about this time why we need our girlfriends so much? When we have full lives, we have careers, we have children, we have partners. Why are friendships at this point in our lives so important? And obviously related to the two of your friendship, but why do you think that is?
I think for me, it's also when you're younger, at least for us, we were very driven, all three of us here. So it was very career and like what we're doing. We went
Right.
from like Mach 10 fun. You and I lived in Sun Valley, Martha's Vineyard, Aspen. Like we were about, let's have the most fun everywhere we go.
That was the motto. for
That was
sure.
the motto. It was leave nothing behind.
Leave
Is that what we used to
nothing-
say?
yeah,
Leave nothing behind.
Leave
T.
nothing behind.
Or leave them wanting more.
Yes.
Or numb them with the
Leave
first
nothing
one.
behind, because I actually could see you guys leaving a lot behind.
We left a lot.
like
We got out of town a lot.
like a
in the
lot
middle
of
the night.
carnage would actually fall
Then
behind
we
you.
threw ourselves into business.
Yeah,
Both
true.
of us really big into
Our
career.
careers, absolutely. Yeah.
And then kids. And so then I think as things sort of evolve, I think you just look at life differently. And again, what's the meaning of it if you can't share it with people that
Exactly.
you love? It's like a lot, again, if I can't laugh with you about something that I think is funny or something that our kids did that I'm not sharing with you, it doesn't seem as like
Right.
real or fun.
I think it's also really important, like when I look back, is meeting your friends where they are too. Because as you get older and you're not in the same place anymore. As you get older, like maybe someone's having a baby, but you're still dating, or someone's getting married, but you're getting divorced, or whatever it is. I think meeting your friends where they are and like very little judgment. I think being judgmental of friends or friendships can really be a demise. And I feel like we've been so good about always kind of meeting each other where we are or appreciating where the other one is
Yeah.
and celebrating that, which I think was really wonderful because there's been a lot of times we haven't really been in the same place, and I think our friendship really flourished around those times.
Yeah.
Like I feel like our friendship just continues to grow, even now, which I didn't even think would be possible.
I mean, we're a family. But what you said there is so important. And Harper, I'm sure you feel this way as well, is loving each friend for their strengths and their weaknesses, right? You're not trying to change anybody. You meet them where they are. But my mom always says, like, having a wide variety of friends that are different from you is what's so wonderful. It makes the
Very
world
true.
go round. So you and I've never tried to change one another, but you know all my strengths and all my weaknesses. And love me anyway. I think that's the key. I find as I get older that maybe my foxhole's getting a little smaller with the people that I'm truly, truly letting in, but it's all substance.
Exactly.
And I think the history is just
Yeah, that's
incredible. And
invaluable.
that's what the White Lotus was. Like, that was so cool at the end.
I was laughing. There was all through that season, there was just funny memes about if I've learned anything from White Lotus, it's never travel with just 3 girlfriends. Right?
You need a fourth.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of, shimmying around those friendships, but it was so beautiful at the end. Yeah, I mean, her monologue I thought was just so poignant, and she's such a tender character anyway that it was it was really beautiful. Okay, girls, we're gonna wrap this up with a quick let's get random.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, good.
boy.
Oh,
I didn't know we were doing
Team
that.
Money.
No, we're doing Coop style, baby.
Okay.
All right, date story from your 20s.
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
We'll have to leave names out. I mean, I don't even
my
know.
gosh.
I don't know which one.
Did you guys ever
Lieutenant
date this?
Smoothback?
Did you say again?
Okay.
Lieutenant Smoothback?
Trevor set me up with this guy. We're not going to say his name.
No.
But he's 6'5", and
my
I
gosh.
love a smoothback.
That's
And
right.
I called Trevor, and I was like, Lieutenant Smoothback, report to duty, sir. I was like,
Stop it.
Yeah, he was such a
That
good
was just my
kisser.
favorite nickname. I'm like Lieutenant Smoothback. I was like, wow. Okay.
And everywhere we went in my life, everybody in my orbit would fall in love with Trevor.
Did you guys ever date the same guy?
Never, but we would always go
don't
on
think
double
so.
dates. Remember the
We
chiropractor?
did do a lot of double dates.
Do you
yes.
remember the chiropractor?
Well, Trevor liked older men when we were in our 20s. She would date older. She's very mature. I made her give me a picture of her when she was little as a child because I'm like, you always seem so worldly. Like in college, I was a bumbling idiot. Look, Trevor's just very regal. And like she just always had beautiful blazers, very smart and like womanly. And I'm like, doo, 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 doo. So Trevor gravitated towards men that were a little older. Do you remember
So
that?
you didn't have the same
Yes.
taste in men.
No,
is what
and
we're
I'm
saying.
going at like, yeah.
I liked him younger.
And I'm
I
getting my
liked him
head
older.
shaved by her
Yes,
younger brother,
exactly.
okay?
I liked a hairy back. You liked a smooth back.
So you know what? That is another key to friendship. I was going to ask, like, what do you think the key is to maintaining a lasting friendship?
exactly.
Like different men,
Different men.
with different
Exactly.
physical characteristics.
Yeah.
But everybody we've
funny.
always dated has loved the other person. That's been the
Yes.
prerequisite. They know we
That was
come
the
as a
end game.
duo.
We both wanted to make sure we liked whoever the other person was with. That was key, So.
But I'll never forget, we were on a double date somewhere in this chiropractor that I wanted no part of it. I mean, we are young, Trev, and this is like a man. And I remember he grabs the car seat and like hits the car thing, so my seat goes flying back. Well, now Trev and I can't quit laughing. And I said, look,
Yeah.
you're my best friend and I love you, but peace out. I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
You're like, I'm not looking for an adjustment right now,
No.
buddy.
And
No.
that's the summer I loved the alcoholic dishwasher, and Trev had to
Oh,
help me get
boy.
out of that one.
That was good.
There's some tales, Harper.
I
You've
know.
heard 'em.
Well, we'll hold.
We're
We'll hold.
scratching the surface right now.
Yeah, exactly. We sat here for 8 hours. Forget it. It wouldn't even scratch the surface. Okay, what would your 20-year-old selves say if they saw you now?
Great job.
Yeah, well done.
Well done.
Yeah.
They would still say, let it ride.
Let it ride.
Let it
yes.
ride.
It's
Yeah.
the goosebumps.
Yeah.
Totally.
Exactly.
I love that answer so much. Okay, and this is the last thing, and you guys both have to answer this. I love you because you start,
I
Kat.
love you, Trev.
Oh, now I'm gonna cry.
Yeah. Truthfully, you've never let me down. You're always there for me. All friendships have bumps, but there's a feeling of family. And I think that's allowed me to fly throughout my life, right? Like we're in the foxhole together with whatever comes.
Yes.
And it's such a gift. And with it comes not only wisdom, but the laughter. Like, God, do we love to laugh together. And gosh, can we find humor in the darkest stuff?
Yes.
Which I think is such a winning
It really is.
combo.
Yeah, it really
Like,
is.
and so to do this journey with you, we're coming up on 40 years of friendship.
Exactly.
Is just outstanding.
Yeah, no.
So, and guess what? We just getting
We're getting
started.
Yeah.
Could you say to Kit, I love you because?
Oh man, I'm gonna
Without
cry.
crying, right? I love you because there's no one like you, and you're the most positive person that I've ever really met or encountered, and you always look on the bright side because I know I can always pick up the phone or see Kit, and wherever I'm at, I'm going to get such a positive outlook on what I'm going through or experiencing because that's how you live your life. You always use that expression, your toast landing butter side up, and I think that that has been such a message in our friendship that has been so wonderful for me in my life, in every aspect of my life. So.
Thanks, Team Money.
I love you,
I
Kitty.
love you.
Okay, so there's one thing I wanted to ask earlier. Can you think of anything that Bug has ever said to you about friendship? Just her advice to you on friendship.
Bug's best advice on friendship, I think, is forgive easily. It goes back to a little what Trev said of meet people where they are. It's like just lead with love, and easy to say, but sometimes hard to do, right? We all get busy in our
Right.
lives, sure, doing things, but forgiveness is such a beautiful thing. I mean, Bug really works hard at her friendships.
I could see that with her. Just the forgiveness is so hard, I think, for people. I mean, it just is, and it is a learned skill, because when you're younger, it's harder to understand what that is and the benefit of it, and just letting stuff go. And some people just
Right.
naturally have it, which your mom does. But
And also,
forgive
though,
easily. It's really
forgive easily, and keep your circle with people that elevate you. And so we all know people.
Right.
Harper, you and I were speaking about last week that sometimes maybe are draining, or there's a feeling. And as you get older in your life, you
Right.
can be more selective. And Bug at 85, she's just cultivated a beautiful group of women.
I've never met anyone more content in their lives than Bug. And so when I see her and I look at my life now and looking into the future, I want to feel like she feels at that age. And I just, every time I see her, I'm like, what was her progression to get there and to feel like that? Because that's all I want now, is just to feel the way she feels and what she exudes as a person now.
Because I just see Bug as my mom, but
Right.
Trevor sees her as a person. So
Right.
it's neat for you to even point that out, because I just know every morning I call Bug that you do to me now. What does Bug do?
Woo, morning.
Woo, morning!
Every
I mean,
morning.
the most positive.
This is what I say to kid every time.
Every
Good morning,
when I
Jay.
call Harper, I just get a woo morning now every time. And she has not had an easy life. No. Bug has had more tragedy in her life and had to overcome so
is
much.
mind-blowing, yes.
She's reinvented herself at age 65 and cultivated the life that she wanted. She's taken risk. So she's remarkable, but she does it all with grace and humor
Right.
and kindness.
How's the weather?
How's the weather? Yeah. This is so
This has been
fun.
great. You guys are doing
And-
a great job, and I love it. And they've all been amazing. Well done.
And
that's what I say.
yeah, now we're taking this on the road. Get ready
Yes,
for the Coop
a little
chicks
road show.
coming on the road.
Yes.
Yeah. Wait till you see us getting Harper all wild. You buckle up.
Doesn't take much.
It doesn't take much. Listen, this one, we're rested on her. This is going to be good.
Yes.
So thank you, Harper.
Well, thank you both for
Yeah,
your
thank
time.
you.
That
It was
was
really fun.
my heart is full, literally, to sit with the two of you and just not only hear the laughter, because I know that that is such an underbelly of your friendship, but just the love and appreciation you have for each other. And I mean, when I think about Ride or Die, it is the two of you. It is really
thank you.
beautiful.
Thank
It's
you.
really beautiful. So thank
Well,
you.
hope y'all loved that episode of The Coop, and I hope you're just enjoying all of your friendships, because I'm certainly having a ball doing this podcast with Trev and with Harper, and that makes life more meaningful. All right, hit it,
fun.
and fun. Just laugh more. Good gracious. All right, guys, hit us up. Follow that button. What am I saying, Harper?
Yeah, follow that
click.
button. Just
follow that
don't
button.
follow us. Follow the button.
Follow the button. See you next time in The Coop.